Another attempt to brainwash and indoctrinate our kids through children's literature. This one, and we've done several of these videos because unfortunately there are so many of these kinds of books on the bookshelf. If you go to Barnes & Noble or any other bookstore, this one is called The Gay BCs because, of course, the regular ABCs are not good enough. If you're a gay activist, you need your own ABC. So you got the Gay BCs. This is written by M.L. Webb. And I'll just read, this is the description of the book. It says, a playdate extravaganza transforms into a celebration of friendship, love, and identity as four friends sashay out of all the closets, dress up in a wardrobe fit for kings and queens, and discover the wonder of imagination. That's what the book is. Now, we know it's an ABC book. So I think we should keep this in mind as we go through it. What's the age range of a book like this? I'd say probably 3 years old to 7. 3 to 7 is about the age range for a book of this kind. And that's what all the content in this book is directed towards, are kids of that age. Now, usually when we do these videos, I'll read the book ahead of time a little bit just to get an idea of what I'm getting myself into. In this case, I didn't really do that. So I'm going to be experiencing this with you, all of us together at once. And let's go through. I don't know, there are, how many letters in the alphabet? Last I checked, there was 26, so I don't know if we can get through all 26 pages, but we'll try. All right, the Gay BCs. A is for ally, a friend who is there to stand up for you with strength, love, and care. B is for bi. You can shout it out loud. I like boys and girls, and that makes me proud. Bisexual is, this is, again, we're talking kids 3 to 7 years old. And we're talking to them about being bisexual. Yeah, for all the 4-year-old bisexuals out there, you know what? A 4-year-old is not bisexual. He's not gay. Kids at that age don't have a sexuality. That's something that develops over time. And never mind the fact that makes me proud. I like boys and girls, and I'm proud of that. Why should there be pride in your sexual orientation in the first place? I never quite understood that. C is for coming out. You're ready to share what you feel deep inside. It's okay to be scared. D is for drag. You can strut and dance in clothes that you love, dresses, heels, or pants. Now remember, drag is burlesque for gay men. That's what it is. I mean, that's the history of drag. It's adult-oriented. It's highly sexual by its nature. And that's why when you look at a lot of these drag queens for the Drag Queen Story Hours and the names that they have, even the stage names that they choose are clearly sexual in nature.
And then you just move your bum up and down like that, and that's twerking.
So when drag foist on kids, that's what's being foisted. E is for equality. We're on the same team. We all have the right to love, hope, and dream. That's true. I can't disagree with that. We all right to love, hope, and dream, whatever that means. I have the right to dream and hope. You do. Your family, related or found, they'll stick by your side through your ups and downs. G is for gay. It's a word that implies you're a girl who likes girls or a guy who likes guys. H is for hope. Dream up a life that you'll love. The sky is the limit. The stars above. And now we're really getting into it here with I. I is for intersex. Some are born with the parts of both a boy and a girl. Bodies are works of art. Some are born intersex, and by some we mean about 7 people in the whole world. But for some reason, they get lumped into this conversation. Let me ask you, why are intersex people, so-called, why are they lumped in with gay? What do they have to do with anything? Intersex, that's a medical condition. That's a deformity. That's what that is. So why are we lumping people who suffer from a deformity in with, what do they have to do with anything? Intersex people are always brought in, especially when the topic is trans. And the left, they're trying to justify their position on gender. They say, well, what about intersex people? What about them? What do they have to do with anything? Just because they're intersex people, how does that validate or legitimize a biological man who claims to be a woman? How does the existence of a birth defect that he doesn't have validate what he's claiming. And then why are we telling kids about intersex? At what point in a 4-year-old's life do you say to yourself, you know what, I got to sit little Johnny down and tell him about, and give him the intersex talk? Why does a 4-year-old need to know about intersex? There are 12 intersex people in the world. Why does a 4-year-old need to know about them? And also, born with the parts of a boy and a girl. It's more accurate to say that an intersex person is born with parts that look ambiguous to us, or that are it could be unclear from a physical exam biological sex this individual is. It doesn't mean that they don't have a biological sex, and it certainly doesn't mean that they are both biological sexes. Okay, because really being born with the parts of a boy and a girl, what that would actually mean, if we're talking literally here, is that you would have a person who has the functional reproductive capacity of both a male and a female. And that type of person existed in the human species ever. That does not exist. There's never been a person who has the ability to impregnate and be pregnant. Because that's what it would really mean to have the parts of a boy and a girl. That's never existed ever. What has existed are birth defects. Okay, J is for joy. You can sing, dance, and play.
All right, that's it on that one. You get the gist of it, man. You see how Babylon's trying to demasculate the men, separate families. You know, they've been doing that with Jake, the parents, the fathers. You know what I'm saying? Putting all these kind of stipulations, and now they just furthering it to really divide everybody. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles whom I learned from. Shalom to the hopeful elect, which is word and truth and sincerity. And to you ribs, your sisters out there, learning silence and staying in order. Right? So this is a real disgusting move, man. Besides the laws they're trying to pass in California, where if a male touches a child, that the penalties will be less serious, should I say? Whereas California has a 3-strike law. You know, you steal, you steal like a can of beans, and then you go and you and then you get into a fight. And then, you know, let's say you went and stole some bread again. You know, they got the 3-strike laws out there. You get serious times for that. But something like touching children is okay. Why? Because the elites have been doing it in secret for a long time. So once those records come out, by the time they come out, it'll practically be okay to touch children. This is why they sexualizing children at a rapid rate, right? And some states are actually fighting against it. You know, we got seditions of men. Texas, Florida, always going against the government and their agenda, which they might be considered an enemy to the what they call the dark state, right? Or the governmental power, the shadow government, not the government you see on TV with a smile, you know, and they lie to you. We'll talk about the ones who control them. Those are puppets, right? They're pushing this agenda to take your children. You know, they've already taken the fathers out of the house. Next is the children, separate them from the mothers. You know, let them be independent, because a lot of people are disowning children who even have that kind of talk. But then on the TV, we see parents who are accepting of it. So you see the positive side of these, you know, gender changing people. People and celebrities like Dwayne Wade, right? We have, you know, celebrities out there making it cool, like Will Smith and all that, his son, Jaden. But then they don't talk about the parents who disown the kids, or how about the kids who commit suicide after they did change, and all the depressive things that come along with it, right? And the confusion. You know, people are so weak-minded that whatever, let's say the government says that it's okay to do and it's kind of taboo, there are people who are screaming and crying inside for attention that would take this as an opportunity to shine the light on themselves, to say I am different, and they're willing to go through drastic changes because of their mental state. Something like this is called gender dysphoria, where one has a delusion that they think that they're of another sex. And I've said this for a long time, like, if the alphabet community accepts all these things, they have to accept pedophiles, right? Because they are allegedly born to be attracted to minors. So if you're okay with people being born with the thought of being something else, then you have to be okay with pedophiles. You have to be. You have to be okay with a man going in there and touching your niece, your nephew, right? All you people who support the all these kind of movements, you have to be okay with a pedophile touching your nieces, nephews, cousins who are minors. You cannot complain. You cannot have it both ways. See what I'm saying? Let's see. Where was we? Here we go. It says book bans are on the rise in U.S. schools. This is mostly Texas, Florida, right? And places who are far right supporters, right? Not that many states, though. It says fueled by new law in Republican-led states. Fearing criminal penalties, public schools throughout Missouri removed hundreds of books from the libraries after state lawmakers last year made it illegal to provide students with sexual explicit material, a law that carried punishment of up to a year in prison. Right, so now they put in penalties on these things, man. You're gonna teach the children, you're gonna go to jail for a year, right? Which I agree with. I'm not gonna lie. That law is put in place to protect children. I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna vote on it, obviously, but I think that is a show of how this country is divided, and seditions among men. This country is not on one accord. A house divided cannot stand. Right? Says the issue is playing out in public schools, district, and campus libraries, according to United States First Amendment advocates warn book bans, gassed up by state legislation, pushed by conservative officials and groups, are stacking up at an alarming rate, right? So there's people at an uproar on this, man, and I understood to be why. I understand why, because I mean I have a child, and he's homeschooled right now. I don't want to send him to school, especially if this is going on. I live in a democratic state, so I could just imagine what's here. I haven't heard anything in particular, but I'm pretty sure it's out there. It says in a report published Thursday by PEN America, the nonprofit free speech organization cited 1,477 instances of books being prohibited during the first half of the 2022-2023 academic year, up to 28.5% from 1,149 cases in the previous semester. Overall, the organization had recorded more than 4,000 instances of banned books since it started tracking cases in July 2021, right? So this investigation started 2 years ago, and from then, about roughly close to 1,400 to 1,500 cases have been opened on it. You see, and that's per individual book. There's at least 1,400 books out there circulating in children's schools. That's a lot of books, man. If you've ever been to a middle school, grade school library, it doesn't even look like it holds 1,400 books, right? I'm not saying all the books are like that, but I mean, they got to be sprinkled in there. It says, at issue is more than a single book being removed in a single district, said Casey Meehan, the Freedom to Read program director at PEN America and a lead author of the report. It's a set of ideas, its themes, identities, It's knowledge on the history of our country. These are the kinds of bigger buckets of what is being restricted, suppressed in public schools and public school libraries, Megan said. Forbidden books are largely by and about people of color and LGBTQ individuals, the group found. Of the books removed in the first half of the school year, 30% are about race, racism, or include characters of color, and 26% have been LGBTQ characters or themes, all at a time when library shelves are becoming more inclusive and representative of society. The clash over books is not new, but the tactics are changing. One spurred mainly by the concerns parents, book removals are increasingly powered by organized groups, elected leaders, and legislations targeted titles that don't align with their values, PEN America found. Right, and it goes into all that, and basically, there are people in an uproar, and people just not having it. So another tool to divide the people, and to basically distract you from the true prophecies that's going on behind the scenes, man. So this right here is a smokescreen, right? Put there on purpose to get the people fighting each other, to ignore the the MOTB, basically, the money moving around, the money changing from petrodollar to to yang, and there's a lot of things going on, man. This is just another thing to keep the people fighting each other while ignoring what's really going on. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.